Yo, what up? This your boy Baby T calling out of Chicago, Illinois. I'm here with TampaMystic on Industry's Most Wanted. You know what it is. Let's go.
You know I can feel your vibe. Moving like a thief in the night. Yeah. The body language never lies. All that temptation in your eye, and I can't control it. Make me lose my focus on every little thing.
Hey, what's going on, man? It is your girl, TampaMystic, and we are live on the Industry's Most Wanted podcast. Big Industry's Most Wanted, not the little one. Listen, I got my homie checking in today. Somebody I've been working with for a hot little minute. Finally getting to connect. Baby T, what's going on with you,
What's
fam?
What's going on? Way too long. Finally glad to be here, back in Atlanta. Oh my gosh, it's been crazy.
Absolutely. And you sounds like you're already having a good time.
Yeah.
You got to go to an event last night, hang out a little bit.
Yeah, I did.
Definitely. Go ahead and give us an introduction of who Baby T is.
Oh man, talking to you and the camera. Baby T, born out of Flint, Michigan, currently residing out of Chicago, Illinois. I've been in the music industry probably since I was like 14. Started self-studying as an engineer. Now I'm a full-time freelance audio engineer for TV and sports, and still doing music and traveling and touring when I can, and few Emmys and a few awards and a few other things I might talk about later.
Absolutely. You've really done a lot in your time within this industry, and you've been doing it for a long time. So I definitely, I commend you on that, because there's
Thank you.
a lot of people that get in and get out quickly just because it's a difficult business to really thrive in.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting. It's difficult. Definitely even like from where I am now in the sports world, because the sports world is a total different monster. The people are different. The attitudes are different. The egos are different, but it's still show up, show out, go home. And with that mentality, you'll be fine.
Absolutely, 100%. Let's take it back, though. You're from Flint, Michigan.
Yes.
You resided there until about what age?
I spent the majority of my life there. Let's say about 19 years. And then I actually moved to Georgia. So it's weird. I moved to Georgia at 16.
Okay.
And then we stayed here for about a year and a half or so. Then we moved back to Flint. I stayed in Flint till about 19. And then I came back to Georgia and stayed for a couple months, and then trying to find a job, whatever, because I wanted to be here.
Yeah.
Didn't work. Went back to Michigan. And then after that, it kind of just... I stayed in Michigan, but always was on the go, always touring and doing things, and eventually I ended up moving to Arizona and going to school.
Okay, that is dope. So you've lived in a few different places.
Yeah.
When you moved to Georgia, where did you live? Here in the Atlanta area?
I wouldn't say Atlanta area, but usually most people do. But I was in Gwinnett.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was in Gwinnett, Buford area.
Yeah, I'm in Lawrenceville. But it's like you meet someone who's not from here and you say, oh, I'm from Buford. They're going to be like, where? I'm from Lawrenceville. Where? It's just easier to say Atlanta. But for people who live here, you can tell them, hey, I live in Lawrenceville, Buford. They're going to get it.
Exactly.
Understood.
Yep.
I think most places do that. Like, like Chicago, where you're at now. Even if you live on the outskirts, you're going to say Chicago. Because people aren't going to be familiar oftentimes with them smaller places.
Absolutely.
So what did take you to Chicago?
The business, actually, work in sports. I actually got a call from my old intern rep from college, and she said, hey, are you still in broadcast? I was like, I can be. Why? What's up? It was right after the pandemic, too. So nobody, I was working on ships before the pandemic, doing audio. That happened, and she was like, yeah, the studio needs some work. I was like, okay, cool. So she was like, they're going to fly you out 4 days. This is what's going to happen. I was thinking it was just going to be, a freelance thing. I'm going to come in, make some money, go home, figure it out after that. They were like, no, go talk to this person. I go talk to them. They said, where you headed, Mav? I said, I guess I'm headed home. Why? Maverick being my first name. They was like, you coming back in like a couple days. We want you like as a freelance. I was like, wow. And then, 4 years later, for almost 4.5 years later, still there, still rocking and rolling. And it is expanded. As soon as I landed, I was getting phone calls from a place in Wisconsin where it was like, hey, we need with these dates, can you do them? So things are really starting to rock and roll.
Man, congratulations.
Thank
That
you.
is major. And that really speaks volume for your work because they on the spot said, we need you.
Yeah.
Pack your bags and get here. Fortunately, you're from Michigan, so
Yeah.
you're used to the cold weather.
Yeah,
Like,
oh God, yes.
if you lived in Georgia your whole life or Florida your whole life like me and tried to move to Chicago, it'd be a shocker with the weather, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. Do you enjoy living in Chicago, like outside of what you do for work?
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different considering all the places I've been, and I guess I tell people I'm pretty spoiled now.
Yeah.
Like when you've been around the world and lived in so many places in the United States, it kind of one city seems like the next. But I think with Chicago is so different, so big, so spread out, so many different cultures.
Yes.
So it's, to me, I keep calling it a little New York.
Yeah.
It reminds me of New York a lot, just not with the feel of New York. But Chicago has its own culture and its own feel that it's definitely for our culture. I think it boils down to like those old back room clubs and jazz clubs and things like that. So it's been interesting. So
Listen, it sounds like you've adapted pretty well.
I'm trying.
So let me ask you this: with the job that they hired you for,
Yeah.
on your day to day, what do you typically do? Run us through your day.
So my typical day to day. So as soon as I get back, this is rare, but I'm gonna give you one. So as soon as I hop a flight tomorrow, I land at about noon. My call time is 4:00. So
straight back to the grind.
Straight back to work. So as soon as I get off the plane, I'm gonna. I may actually have time to go home and drop my bags off. When I get to the studio, it's pretty much checking my schedule, seeing what we have to do today, seeing what. Basically what control room are we working in, because a lot of these are remote broadcasts. So where are we working in? I know it's soccer, but what room? And then checking in with directors and producers and our playback and tape people and our master control. If talent is in Chicago at one of our studios, we need stats for this, different core lines, different numbers for people to call into. And, a couple hours before the show, we check in and go through all of that and pre-pro. And once the game starts, game is on. And you literally just following the game, paying attention to the game, listening to calls, directors, going to break, counts. And
Do you do it for all different sports? Or,
yes.
Okay, so you do it for, what is your favorite one to work on?
Basketball. He said,
that's a no-brainer.
That's easy. That's easy. I did the first for our Big Ten season. I did the first exhibition game for the season.
Man, that
was
amazing.
Fun. That was fun.
Do you feel like with what you're doing work-wise there, you're fully doing what you want to be doing in life, if that makes sense?
Yeah, because for me, starting doing music, I love music.
Yeah.
I'll always love music. I'm Miles Davis like that, where I cannot sell a record and I'll still make and release music.
Sure.
It's therapy. The thing is about self-learning, I wanted to become a better engineer.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to know all the ins and outs about my ears, what I was hearing, all of those things. So as a kid, that's what I wanted to hear and care about. But when you fast forward, I knew the end game. It was like, okay, no one's going to give me a shot in Flint. I'm too short. I'm too young, whatever. They're not going to get me into these studios. Fine. Let me figure it out on my own. And then I became an artist. Then it was recording my cousin Cherry Black and then my brother D Slick. And it's so funny how those recordings start, you know, from a small little speaker taped to a microphone down to, what I do now. It's just, it all was to become a better engineer. And I knew I wanted sports.
Yes.
I knew I always wanted sports.
Yeah, because it falls into two different things that you enjoy and love.
Yes.
You love the sports, you love the engineering side. Like that, God aligned all that for you. That is beautiful. And oftentimes it means we have to go elsewhere to chase those opportunities because it's rare that they come to us, but one came to you, but it required you to pick up and move.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's working out great for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't mind moving. It's that weird thing. Like I said, it was me and my mother when we moved to Georgia.
Okay.
But mom spoiled us as kids. We would, anytime it was a 4-day break, get in the car, all right, get up, dressed, and we're going. It doesn't matter if you're going to Detroit. It didn't. We saw a lot growing up, so it was always a lot of travel. And now as a kid, and now as a grown adult, still feeling like a kid sometimes, it's like this life is normal. I feel more comfortable hopping on and off of the planes and coming to hang with you and then go right back to work and then go to DC for 4 or 5 days. And I love that stuff.
No, absolutely. And it is definitely for some people, and some people it's not.
Yeah.
In my before I came into the music industry, the company I worked for 12 years, I flew out every week somewhere to different cities, different states. It was just super dope. Now I'm kind of like, I did it so much for 12 years that now I'm like, do I have to? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think especially, I ain't gonna lie, flying in and out of Atlanta airport can be such a hassle.
I didn't realize y'all were doing so much construction.
Yo, it is the busiest airport in the entire world. More flights coming in and out of Atlanta airport than any other airport in the entire world. And I would say maybe about 2 weeks ago, the tram things weren't working. They said that it was such a cluster in that airport. People were like passing out and throwing up because it was so hot because they couldn't get anywhere.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, thank God I wasn't there that day.
I'm sure my face is in total disbelief because that's the only reason Atlanta actually moves.
Right.
That airport, like you have to have a tram to get anywhere.
Exactly. You do, to go get your rental car, go get your bags, and they were not working. And like people were getting video of people just literally wall to wall people. And they said people were just in there passing out from heat exhaustion. I'm like, bruh, that's crazy. They need to have a foolproof system in place. That can never happen.
No,
not at that airport.
No. And then I went to like when I was in I flew into Hong Kong. One of the busiest airports I've ever been into, but one of the smoothest airports I've ever been into. That thing was just rocking and rolling. No one was, it was quiet too. I had on my headphones. I was like, you usually have on your headphones, you feel like you can hear something around. You take off your headphones, it was quiet.
Wow. See, I would have loved that.
It was quiet.
I would have loved that.
And people no one had an issue with anything. Everybody just knew where they were going. I was just like, yeah, we did something wrong.
I may need to move to Hong Kong. That sounds like my speed, my style. You know what I'm saying?
It's cheap.
Nah, for real. I would imagine it's cheap. It's probably beautiful out there. People are kind.
Yes.
Way different than here in the U.S. Definitely. Let's talk about some of your accolades because you've definitely done a lot. You had a few music placements, American Idol, Fox Sports, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Yeah. Let's talk about that because those are the type of accolades that I think every artist inspires or aspires to do. Mm-hmm. How did those situations come about for you, if you don't mind sharing?
Man, I don't mind sharing at all. I always want to share. The interesting part is I don't know how it happened. They found the music and they used it and they paid me for it.
Yeah.
The first time was American Idol.
Yeah.
It was for a song called oh my gosh, I know Angel is gonna hate me because I'm trying to remember the name. 15 minutes because she's on the hook. And it is just something simple, 15 minutes till the night or something like that. And it's listening back at it, we laugh at it, like how do we release it? But I got a check. I was upstairs in the studio and at my mom's house at the time. And I was with a good friend, Casanova, shout out to Cass. And we hanging out and she's like, hey, you got something here says BMI. I was like, why do I get a letter from BMI? Like, did I contract? But it was a check, and I did not cash the check for like a month because I didn't know what was going on.
Right, exactly. Is this legit?
Yeah.
Am I gonna wind up with the feds at my front door?
Exactly.
Like,
and I called them, and my rep was like, "No, it's legit. This is what happened," and blah 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 blah. And they said this is why we tell every artist to register your songs as you release them. She said even if you haven't released them. If you record it, register it anyway.
Yes.
Because if you ever decide to, they don't have to physically pick up the phone and call you. They can use it and still pay you because all your information is there and it's legit.
Yeah.
And voila.
That's a great piece of advice because artists, y'all ain't trying to leave no money on the table. Mm-hmm. Period. And like you said, some of these companies don't go back retroactive. Sound Exchange goes back 3 years to collect royalties for you, but the publishing companies aren't going to do that.
Exactly.
So as you release the song, just like you said, and your rep said, go ahead and boom, or even before you release it, go ahead and register. You want to be proactive in them type of situations.
Absolutely.
100%. Also, too, Fox Sports and Keeping Up with the Kardashians, kind of the same similar situation.
Yeah, same similar situation. Fox Sports happened right after the American Idol, so I'm guessing that was back to back, and it was for sports.
Yeah.
So that was the funny part about that.
It's amazing.
End up being with sports. And Keeping Up with the Kardashians, I don't even know what happened with that one.
You're like, I'll take it though.
I'll take it though. I saw my I was like, hey, ding, got a thing. Oh, okay, got a report. Keeping Up Kardashians. What in the hell?
But like, I don't even watch that show, but I'll take it. I'll take the check.
And because it was on TV, so it was the one before it went to streaming. It was on TV, so it actually told you when, where, what stations, when it was played, breakdowns. I went and bought it.
I would have too.
That episode just cause.
That is amazing. Listen, bro, congratulations.
Thank you.
Those are major, major accolades. And again, it speaks volumes for your work because it means not only do you take this business seriously, but you're making sure that your music is top-notch quality.
I'm trying.
No, you're doing.
I'm doing.
You're doing. He ain't tried. Listen, take that word out of the vocabulary. He doing. No, I absolutely love that for you.
Thank you.
Because you have such a kind spirit. You know, like every time we've ever conversated, it's been love.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I just love to see people and artists like you win.
I appreciate it.
I love it, man.
I appreciate it. I'm like, I follow you all the time and everything that you're doing and everything that you do for indie artists and just artists in general. So you and your whole camp and team. So I'm always not a problem. I'm like, yeah, I gotta make it down here to hang with her. At least I have to at least once.
Facts. Hey, and he kept his word. He's here. Boom. Definitely. Also, you've got 2 Emmy Awards.
Yes.
Major congratulations on that. Tell us about that.
So what's crazy is, so theoretically, I always put 2 because the other 2 I can't touch.
Understood.
Because I was working for ESPN, and ESPN is very tight on releasing that stuff. So I ended up, it's funny because I worked for ESPN, basically 1, 2 for the show E60 and the Sports Center, but they wouldn't sign off on them because we all know they got to sign off on this stuff like a platinum plaque. And then I come to Chicago, and somebody for the Chicago Cubs pregame show, like pre and post game show, he got double booked. And they were like, Maverick, can you go in here? You do studio work. You did Sports Center. Yeah, sure. Not a problem. I sat down in that chair and never left the chair. And then boom, 2 Emmys later.
Man, how does one get nominated and win an Emmy Award?
It's so every category, everybody has their own category, and this was a team. Even though I put it down as a Emmy win for me, it's a team effort all the way around because we all, as a show, as a collective, won those Emmys. When you're talking about as an individual or even just a show, it's simple as, if you feel like you have a product that's good enough and you want to submit it, this is the guidelines, this is the fee, submit it. If it's almost like a Grammy, it's just with the Grammys, it's so selective with, hey, you have to be a voting member to submit it. With the Emmys, you physically can submit it if you want to just pay the fee.
Really?
Yeah. And if you go and it gets nominated, and then, okay, we're nominated, cool. We're not going to win. Boom, you win. You like, wow, we won. So it's for Emmys, it's more simple and broken down versus the whole Grammy thing of being a voting member.
Have you been to one of the actual award shows?
It's funny. I got it. So every year, they do one, definitely in the regional area in Chicago. So everybody for that one, for the region in Chicago, everyone comes to Chicago and does it every year. So for the past couple of years, I got placed on a voting member last year. And then this year, I actually received an email that was an actual invite. It was a cute little thing where it was just like, open for your invitation now. I was like, okay, it must be spam. Open it, and you click the link. And it's funny because it just pops up, little music plays. It was a gold envelope. Opens up, your name pops out. You are now invited. I was like, that's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
That's pretty cool. I'm going to try to go. I'm going to try. If my schedule fits, I'm really going to try to go.
That would be one of those absolute memorable lifetime experiences, I think, especially being that you collectively with your team have won 2 of them.
Yeah.
And shout out to your whole team. Because
shout out to the whole Marquee staff. So that's a real one right there, the whole staff.
Right, because all of you had an intricate part in what you do. And if one person wasn't a part of that, you may not have won.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It was a team effort.
Absolutely.
And then again, it shows, teamwork makes the dream work.
Absolutely.
Facts.
Definitely in television. Definitely in television.
Right. Isn't it? You can't do that by yourself.
No, absolutely not.
You have to have a staff and a whole team of people to work together. Other things that you've done, you've been an opening act for a lot of people. Nip, which in fact, my new Lexus, I named it Nipsey because it's Nipsey Blue. You know what I'm saying?
I noticed it. I noticed it.
So Nipsey Hussle, you've Rocco, Slim Thug, Scrappy, a bunch of others.
Yeah. Tell
us about opening up for these, men and women who have seen a lot of success. They're still seeing success, long live Nip.
Yeah, absolutely. Long live Nip.
How did those experiences enhance what you're doing with your music?
It's so difficult because it's difficult in a good way.
Yeah.
Because if I feel like if an artist gets that opportunity and they don't pay attention to everything that's going on and paying attention to what the artist is doing, you miss it. You miss it, because even with Nip, I was a good friend of mine, Pasha. She wanted me to go, and I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And it was interesting because I remember telling her on her way down, I had a book bag, my a small little duffel bag, and they was like, "You're not dressed up yet." And I was like, "We're going to sound check. Y'all don't get it. We go sit in the green room the entire next 14 hours until it's time to go." But I wanted to see everything. So I talked to audio. I stayed for everything. For Nip sound check, I stayed for everything because I was like, I want to stay by monitors. I want to stay by front of house. This is before I even got into live sound or sports.
The experience.
Yeah, and to me, it was me. Every time I watched these opening acts, I paid attention to how they control the crowd, what songs they started with, what songs they ended with, transitions, communication, just how they conducted themselves business-wise. Yeah. When Trina came into the building, I remember when Trina came through the back door. Trina she's super sweet, super cool.
I love her.
Super sweet, super cool. The thing about it though, a promoter came up at the bad time saying something. It made her mad. It's like, do not talk to me right now. And just, so it was like you start paying attention. If you pay attention to that, like you win. And for me, I was like, okay, I get it. I really, really get it. And I understand what these people are doing, how they're in that position. And each time you have to reinvent yourself. Your whole goal is to make sure when them people come out, they have a blast.
Absolutely. The one of the most important things an artist can do on the rise is study the greats. Like you said, that's what you did. Mm-hmm. You literally, like you said, you were there for their sound checks. You seen what music they started with, because that audience is expecting something in particular. Yes. And you have to figure that out, especially if you're an opening act and maybe your music isn't similar to who you're opening for. Yeah. You got to figure out a way to get them to fall in love with you because they came to see this person.
Yes.
Sounds like you've done a phenomenal job with that.
Thank you. I've tried. It's because like even last night, I knew kind of what I was walking into with the show last night. Yeah. Shout out to everybody out there. Yeah, literally I landed off the plane and then went straight to the show. But that was fun because I knew I literally was like, cool. It was like an open mic kind of thing. Yeah. It was like 5 minutes. I said, all right, this is why owning all your mixes and everything comes in handy. 5 minutes, 3 songs.
Right, you can
3 songs, 5 minutes.
3 songs. You just play a hook and a verse or whatever from each one.
You got it.
Boom! Now you're in a different city and state, and you can showcase 3 of your songs in a 5-minute period.
Exactly. And the first song I remember I did. There's something coming that will be out later. It's like our own little tiny desk, and I remember doing this doing spiritual, and when we did it as an open. Me and my DJ, Ryan Moses, shout out to Rye, we both knew, I always knew that record was good, but watching other people's reactions as an opener and the way it comes on, it gives you old school, it gives you Nip vibes.
Right.
And it's like, all right, let's open with that. And as soon as the music dropped, all I heard the crowd goes, ooh.
You're like, whew.
Yeah, everybody was like, ooh. And I was like, okay, we're off and running. Then the next song is Icon. And then after that, yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like, okay, now let's get to crowd participation. Let's get to keep that energy. I have you focused. Now let's turn it up.
Absolutely. And that also is another lesson that an artist can learn, is the fact it's important to have a broad catalog of music.
Yeah.
Because you never know what opportunity may present itself. Like, what you do at a Nip show may be totally different than what you do at a Trina show.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because they're
Absolutely.
so different, you know? So it's like you have to have a broad catalog of music. Are you creating music, or are you open to create music in other genres?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's probably another reason why I love traveling outside of eating.
You're a foodie and a traveler.
Oh, God, I'm a foodie and a traveler. You have no idea. I'm addicted to Italian just from being in Italy. It's ridiculous.
I love Italian because I love pasta.
Yes.
But it's what blows me up.
Oh, goodness. Like real.
Right, the real deal stuff. Not the stuff you buy at the grocery store
Right.
show.
No. You talking about the person, the old man
Making
in the
it from
back.
scratch. Yes.
The grandpa that's been there forever.
Yes.
Oh, man. It's, yeah, it's been great. That one, yeah. Yeah.
We'll leave it there. But I want to talk about also other business ventures that you're pursuing, because you're so well-rounded. You know what I'm saying? You don't just do one thing. And I think it's important that every human being have multiple hustles.
Yeah.
You know, years back, people could get away with just working their 9 to 5, you know, going to work, coming home, eating dinner, and going to bed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nowadays, stuff is so expensive that you literally have to have multiple hustles, and nothing is guaranteed anymore, right?
Right.
So other things that you venture into outside of what we already talked about is you're mastering an entertainment law.
Yeah.
Tell us about that venture for yourself.
Yeah, I've always loved music business. Even when I went to school for audio, I aced music business without literally doing any of the homework. It was weird. I love business. I love music business. My mom worked in the court systems for 20 something years.
Wow.
So, or even when I go back home to Flint and I go visit her, if it's an SVU marathon, we're there. I'm not leaving. I'm just by her side and we ordering food. But I grew up with that being around it, and now it's like, okay, I want this for me. And I know I've had multiple questions. What are you going to do with this? What do you want to do with it? I was like, to me, it's about having it because I want it. But most importantly, you're talking music business, bachelor's degree, fine. I'll be great with that. But when you're talking taking that music, that bachelor's, and then turn it to entertainment law and a master's, come on. That means I physically can go, I love audio, but now I want to sit in this corner office. Now I want to be able to sit in this corner office. I want to be able to help people that look just like me and put them in places that in rooms that I couldn't even be in.
Right. Absolutely. Because I think at some point in time in our life, or maybe when we reach a certain age, we want to transition into doing something different.
Yeah.
Still kind of in the same field of what we're doing, but something different. Because like I've been doing this, for almost 14 years. At some point in time, I'm not going to want to sit down and interview anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm like always thinking about what's my next move going to be.
Absolutely.
We have to do that. That's important because, you know, things are ever changing.
Absolutely.
Podcasting has now, you know, and it's no shade. Shout out to all the other podcasters, but it's become very oversaturated, especially after the pandemic. Everybody thought they could become a podcaster, you know, but I've seen a lot of them come and go. But there's some great ones out there. So it's like you got to always think about your next move. Also, expanding your music publishing portfolio.
Yes.
Super important.
Super important.
Talk to us about that.
Oh, my goodness, man. If every artist out there last night at that show knew that just registering the music, owning the publishing, both of those alone get you 2 checks every time you step on the stage to any open mic.
Right.
Every artist will probably do it because you go, wait a minute, so you telling me I'm gonna get a check? Yeah, don't trip. It'll come down the line, but the fact that you keep doing all these open mics, just keep doing it. That's a residual income right there. Like when people say owning your masters, that people talk about the files and things like that, but we're talking about publishing.
Yes.
Like that publishing side, it's a total different ball game. Your credits from publishing, you're publishing for others. And that's something I created the company for, Tyler Caden Music. It was like, I wanted to name it after my first niece and nephew, but I was like, I want to do everything. Like if somebody says, hey man, can you help me publish in my book? I want to be able to help do that.
Yeah.
If it's music, I want to help do that. If it's film, I want to help do that. Just with the publishing side, I want to be able to take all this knowledge that I've been able to be blessed with, from music to film to live sound to all these areas of business, and be able to go, cool, let's help put this under one umbrella as a publishing company and help push people out.
Absolutely. And like you said, with these venues, a lot of artists don't realize these venues, if they're playing music, they have to have a license to be able to do that.
Yeah.
That's why an artist can get paid, because a venue can get shut down.
Absolutely.
You know, whether it be temporarily or permanent, if they're bringing in a DJ, playing all this music, and they don't have a license to do so.
Absolutely.
Same thing with the radio station. The first thing we did is got our BMI and ASCAP, our Sound Exchange, our CSAC license, because we got to be covered to be able to play these artists' music.
Otherwise,
we could be in big trouble. That's why places like Spinrilla had a lawsuit filed against them because DJs were uploading mixtapes with copywritten music, and people were getting it for free when really they need to be paying for that music.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even think Spinrilla's around anymore, but they had a big lawsuit against them because of that, you know?
Yeah.
So artists, get your business together. I had someone hit me up recently and they were saying that their son is getting into music. He was young, a teenager. And so we were in a group chat and his son's like, what's a piece of advice you could give me? I said, before you start releasing any music, get your business together. Yes. You don't want to have to get ready. You want to already be ready.
Yes.
Because you never know, like with yourself, the opportunities that can present themselves.
Absolutely.
That if you hadn't had your music business together, them checks wouldn't have came in the mail.
Exactly.
Period.
Yeah.
Definitely. Another thing that you're venturing into is becoming a teacher at some point in time. What type of teacher?
I want to teach audio.
Okay.
I want to teach music business. I graduated from the Conservatory of Recording Arts in Arizona. Shout out to Crass. Crass grad all day. And I want to teach. Like at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, when I'm tired of being behind a console, you know, or whatever, I want to be able to teach that console. I want to be able to teach them that broadcast. I want to teach music business. I love to learn, but I also get super inspired by teaching others. And I went back this year for a grad panel where we go for a couple of days, like 3 or 4 days, and for open house, and we talk to future students and we talk to, you know, all the other students and walking those same halls, and watching students go, yo, that's you on the wall. And I'm like, holy shit, that is me on the wall. So it's like, it's super cool, you know, and I'm like, I want to be able to fully give back at some point.
Absolutely. And also the beautiful thing about becoming a teacher is there are people who do it well beyond their retirement years because they love it so much. Some of these teachers be like 70 years old still doing it, versus you don't want to still be a rapper. If that's all you do is you're a rapper, you don't want to be rapping at 70 years old. You know what I'm saying? But as a teacher, film like what you do. I don't think there's an age limit. There's not an age limit on anything. Don't come for me. But just realistically, you don't want to be 70 still rapping. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if it's like your complete passion and, you know, 62 or 65 comes, you're like, I'm not ready to sit down yet, you can still do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is a beautiful thing right there. Let's talk about some of your music. I know that you've been doing music, like we mentioned, for 25 years.
Yeah.
Definitely. Talk to us about some of the projects you put out.
Man, dating. Let's go all the way back. I'm gonna go back to my friend Justin. He's actually from Atlanta too. He's in LA now. It's funny. He's the only person that still has a copy of this particular thing. I don't even have a copy. It's called The Game of Life. I released it when I was 16 years old when I lived here in Georgia. Mom was like, okay, if you're going to do this, you're going to do it right. So that means we went to the store, we bought the blank CDs, we went and bought, you know, that was back in the day. You remember when you used to be able to have the album cover paperwork, you put it in the printer at the software, you print it out, you cut it out yourself, and or you know, oh god,
these young new artists don't know nothing about that.
Oh my god. So literally I spent all night, I got no sleep going to school, and I remember going to homeroom, selling a few copies. When I got to my first class, which is math, it's funny, never forget these moments. And where like literally it happened just like this. And the teacher, I get into class, I sat down, my desk is right up front. I literally pulled out my books, but also pulled out the albums. I was just like, I thought about it at night. How am I going to set this up on my desk?
Yes.
I put one album on each side, and I put the stack of them in the middle. And everybody was like, oh my God, he actually really did it. And mind you, I'm in like high school or whatever.
Right.
And man, that teacher was like, all right, now y'all can go buy his album. That's when he got done telling what the lesson was. Now go buy the album. Everybody in the whole class got up and bought a copy.
That was so dope.
It was super dope. And
Yeah.
I was not expecting it. Literally sold out that day.
Shout out to your teacher who allowed that to transpire, first of all, and then shout out to everybody who supported you. And like you said, you sold out, man.
Yeah.
That right there,
Game
again.
of Life. Man, that one, I don't even, man, yeah. Shit, yeah. So you're talking, that was 16, 17. Let's see if I remember them all. Game of Life, Outspoken, Redemption, It's Personal, which I don't know what happened to that project. I believe after that was The Experiment, The Antidote, because they kind of go side by side. Therapy Session, Dear Hip Hop, one of my absolute favorites. Recorded that on a cruise ship with live instrumentation. It was amazing. Dear Hip Hop, Prodigal Son.
And Prodigal Son.
Black Roses, Prodigal Son.
And Prodigal Son is the most recent.
And Prodigal Son's most recent.
So you've put out a lot.
Is that 10? I think that's 10.
It's a lot of work that
music.
you've been put out over the years. Which one out of all those projects do you feel like people resonated with the most?
Oh, wow. The single that seems like it never stops going is Ladies. And that's a sample. It samples a song called Ladies. But that song just keeps resonating, and that has been picked up for a lot of different weird stuff too. A lot of different small shows or things like that. I want to say first singles, Ladies. Albums, it's weird because I've gotten things where people say Dear Hip Hop is my best album ever.
Understood.
Everybody says Dear Hip Hop is my best ever. I would probably agree.
Yeah.
Prodigal Son to me is you can relate to the most because it's me being a 39-year-old man, 38, 39 whenever I recorded it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot different for that age. The Experiment, which God, I miss Bosco. At that time, The Experiment, we recorded that right the year when Obama was being elected. Okay. So we recorded that. It was almost like Jay-Z's Blueprint. We literally recorded that thing in 3 days.
Wow.
We were everybody was in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Just everybody's input, mix, everybody's input. And that album, it's down. I'm in the process of re-putting that back up. The Experiment, probably next to Prodigal Son, was the biggest selling one. Man, yeah,
that is amazing. And
it's been crazy.
You've done a lot in your time. Let's talk about the Misunderstood project, our single.
Oh, Misunderstood. Yeah, hey, it's a project in itself because that's how it felt. Like I said, walking into Chicago and into this whole new situation, into this whole new thing, and not really understanding what I was walking into per se, as far as business goes. And when broadcast, and there was a lot of things going on personally within my work, whether it was scheduling or just other business aspects, things behind the scenes.
Right.
I was just feeling uncomfortable. I felt like, I'm kind of one of the few black people that's, in the industry. And I had like some old heads telling me like, hey, you're like one of the few black people that is sitting behind the audio desk. Don't take it for granted. And, he's like, yeah, you're good. Like, it's, you start putting that and that gets into your mind on top of everything else. And you go, okay, you know what? All right, let's figure this out. Right. And I think after a while that started being annoying because I'm like, all right, am I the best? Absolutely not. Because I always wanted to get better, so I'll never say I'm the best.
Right.
But I'm like, I know I'm damn good, so why won't you give me an opportunity? And I just kept feeling misunderstood.
Definitely. And that's the thing is like, a lot of artists, and I'll ask them that, if do they feel like they're misunderstood, and they say yes, you know, but the music is a great way to put that out there.
Yeah.
Definitely, 100%. Listen, it's been an honor and a pleasure to have you here today. For people who want to keep up with your movement, follow what you got going on. Tell them your social media.
Man, social media, everything is simple. It's Baby T, ITSBABYT. That's itsbabyt.com, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is. Itsbabyt.com. You can reach me, follow me. I'm always on Instagram, always on Twitter, talking back to somebody. And I'm always going to network, man. So,
100%, definitely. Who do you want to shout out to, give some love to for supporting the movement?
Man, obviously the young lady that's sitting in front of me, TampaMystic, for supporting. I mean, I got a big team around me of friends and family, but I'm gonna name a few, and everybody don't be getting mad if I leave anybody left out, and not in this order. Just people: Alexis, Lakia, Justin, Royal, my brother Zeke. Shout out to Zeke, Cap. Oh man, Stan. It's so many people that has helped me over the years. So many people. Bosco, rest in peace. There's a lot of us that help. None of us, we do it on our own. So
I know that's right. Definitely. One last question.
Of course.
We're live. Boom. Industry's Most Wanted. You got to tell the whole world what makes you the industry's most wanted.
What makes me the industry most wanted? I mean, I wish I can say it was something cool like when when Snoop was America's Most Wanted. Makes me industry's most wanted because you can't get enough of me. That's just me being confident. You can't get enough of me, no matter what I do, no matter where I go. You can't get enough of me. I'm gonna be around somewhere and have my hands in something, and you can't get it. You won't get enough of me. You can't. No, you can't get rid of me too easy.
I know that's right.
That makes me very dangerous. Makes me a wanted man.
I love it. Thank you again for being here. Give me some love one more time. Boom. We up out of here, y'all.
And I can't control it. Make me lose my